Now let's add some JavaScript to our HTML page here. So if you remember in CSS, how we can add CSS to our HTML is through three ways. One is the internal CSS, one is the inline CSS, other is the external CSS. So we prefer the external CSS over the inline as well as internal CSS. Similarly in JavaScript also you can, there are three ways in which JavaScript can be added. One is through inline way, other is the internal JavaScript, internal way of adding JavaScript, and other is the external way of adding JavaScript. Okay, so always prefer the external way of adding JavaScript here as well. Okay, but let's understand how the inline works. Okay, if I add a button over here, let me type as button. I'll be adding a button and I'll be writing here the click me. Okay, now when I click on this button, something should happen. Okay, now just let me save over here. You see the button. That means when I'm clicking, there should be something happening. This is only my button. Now if something should happen, which means that I have to add an event to it. Okay, now the way in which you add an event to a button is simply write on click, and then for example I will be just alerting it whatever I'll be displaying. Okay, so let me display that this is I have clicked on the button. Okay, let me save over here. Now whenever I'm clicking it, you see the alert that I have clicked on the button. Okay, this alert will come. So this is the way in which we are adding inline way. This is the inline way of adding JavaScript to your HTML page. Okay, now imagine if I'm having, let me type shift home and let me create a few more copies of it. Imagine I'm having number of buttons. Okay, okay, let me do Control Z again. Okay, so let me do a let me copy it completely, not copied it previously. Control C, let me print it. Okay, okay, this many times I'm just having this button. So these are the different buttons that I'm having. So whenever I'm clicking, I'll get the same alert. Okay, so whenever I'm clicking, I'll get the same alert. Now imagine, since I'm calling the same, I'm displaying the same alert message. So there should be some way in which, instead of writing the alert again and again, instead of there should be some way in which I'll write it once and I can reuse multiple times. Right, this event is happening multiple times. Right, so this alert is happening multiple times. So can I write my alert message or my alert function where the message is there at one place, and then I can call it multiple times. So okay, so that will save my time as well as save the number of times I'm writing the same message or same alert function with the message again and again. Okay, this is where internal style come into being. Okay, so I removed the button over here. So let's understand how we can use the internal way of adding JavaScript to our HTML page. Now this button is there. When I'm clicking over here, I'm just getting an alert. Now how I can do an internal way in which I can add a JavaScript. Okay, always add your script, so that you can add internally by using the script tag. Okay, there are a lot of tags, right? Similarly, like style was one tag where we use style to create an internal CSS, right? Similarly, script tag is for creating internal JavaScript. Okay, and you can add the script tag in at the in the body as well as inside the head as well. Okay, here also you can add it in both the places, not Control Z. So let me add script tag over here. You can add the script tag over here as well, and you can write the JavaScript inside it. Okay, but always prefer writing the script tag under the body. Okay, here just below the body. It's not under the body also, not here, at the end. Okay, everything you write the HTML code, everything you write at the this would be the last line. Okay, there is a reason behind it. Okay, so what happens is that whenever our browser is passing our HTML to render the HTML in the web page, what happens is that takes a little bit of time. Okay, now if you imagine, if you have written some script, some code where you are accessing a button or you are accessing an element and you are doing some event on that element, but the HTML parsing has not, the browser has not passed the HTML completely, but you are accessing that element and trying to do something right over it, some event or something, some functionality you are attached to that element, but the element is not yet available in the browser, right? In the DOM it is not available. I'll speak about DOM, but it is, imagine that it is not available in the browser. So what happens? Everything, all error will come, right? That means it will say that okay, we are not able to access the element, but you are trying to do this event over this element. To avoid that, always write the script tag at the end. What this answer is that first the HTML parsing is over, that means all the element will be ready, then the script execution happen. Okay, so that will be helpful to us. So always add the script tag in the bottom. Okay, so whether it is internal or external side, so I can create an external script file, and then I can attach to my index.html, like how we created an external css file and attach to our index.html using the link selector, right? Say a link tag. So similarly, using the script tag, will be adding the external external JavaScript file where we'll be writing the code logic of this website there, but we'll be always linking it at the bottom. It should be linking, it will be there at this position only, whether it's internal or external JavaScript file. So now imagine if I'm having this script file, I'll be adding the functionality related to this index.html. So whatever element I'm having, suppose I'm having this button, I'm clicking the button. Okay, so for after clicking the button, something happens, right? And if I'm having one more element, I'm having 2 or 3 or 10 different elements. So any functionality related to those elements, I'll be writing inside within this script tag over here, right? Now imagine if I'm having an external HTML. So one more HTML file is there, right? Linked to it. Suppose in our navigation bar we are having about.html, about page, or some other page will be there, like contacts page is there, right? So any page that is there in our navigation bar, that is a HTML page, right? Now if I'm having one more HTML page called about.html there, and there are a lot of I click on that about.html, I so the HTML tags related to that is there inside the about.html, that will be displayed. But if there is any function related to those elements, then I have to create a similar script tag in that about.html page as well, and I have to write the code over there as well, right? So imagine whenever the number of HTML files in our application increases, so the same number of the functionality will be added in those script tags, right? Now if our number of elements in a particular HTML page is less, then the amount of functionality will be less. But if the number of tags are more, then the functionality to it can be number 4 times, 5 times, or 10 times of the number of tags, right? Now you are imagining how complex it will be, and you are writing the same thing again and again in different HTML files, right? Now imagine if we have a single external JavaScript file, wherein all the functions related to all the HTML pages of that web application will be there. How good it will be, right? That is the reason we use external JavaScript files, and not the internal or the inline ones. Okay, so the way in which you can add an external JavaScript file is just to click over here in the new file and create something called app.js. App.js, this will be my external file. I will write the code over here, and I have just need to link my app.js over here. So what I write here, I write here simple source equals to app.js. Okay, source equals to app.js. So this is how I have linked my external JavaScript file to our index.html file. Now in the next in the subsequent videos, we'll be writing all our code in the external JavaScript file. Okay, so that is the way in which this is the way in which we use inline way of adding script files or adding functionality, or writing the JavaScript code, or the internal way in writing the JavaScript code, or here in this case the external way in writing the JavaScript code. So let's move to the next video.